Hello, everyone, and welcome to SCORE Fairfield County's live webinar on building a DIY website, the process from start to finish. I'm Bud Freund, the webinar coordinator and a business mentor here at SCORE Fairfield County. I'll be your host today, and our presenter is Jennifer DeRosa. More on Jennifer in just a minute. Our webinar today is being sponsored by Pitney Bowes. So I'd like to invite Lindsay Dolan King from Pitney Bowes to give some brief introductory remarks. Lindsay?
Thank you. It looks like I can't join on camera at the moment due to some settings, but without further ado, I'll just go ahead and start kicking things off. So good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to today's free SCORE webinar, Building a DIY Website, the Process from Start to Finish. My name is Lindsay Dolan King, and I'm the Associate Social Media Manager at Pitney Bowes. Pitney Bowes is a global shipping and mailing company with offices all over the world, but our headquarters are in Stamford, Connecticut. We provide technology, logistics, and financial services to more than 90% of the Fortune 500. Small business, retail, enterprise, and government clients around the world rely on Pitney Bowes to reduce the complexity of sending mail and parcels. In my current role at Pitney Bowes, I specialize in both organic social media and paid social media advertising. On a day-to-day basis, I collaborate with various stakeholders and creative services to craft impactful organic posts and targeted paid advertisements aligned with social best practices. These campaigns span across platforms like LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. For our paid campaigns, I take the lead in defining key performance indicators, also known as KPIs, devising strategic plans, building and executing campaigns, managing budgets, optimizing for the best results, and providing data analysis and reporting. Staying up to date on the latest social trends is a crucial aspect of my role, ensuring that all components are not only effective, but also consistently adhere to our corporate brand guidelines. On the organic front, I actively contribute to the development and implementation of our organic strategy, oversee content scheduling, and reporting on organic results. This approach ensures that our corporate presence remains strong and impactful in the dynamic landscape of social media. A crucial aspect of coordinating paid and organic campaigns involves ensuring that the web experience aligns with the corresponding ad or post, optimizing the overall user experience. For instance, if the campaign's goal is to attract prospective candidates to join our team, we prioritize directing them to a page featuring information on our company culture, coupled with a clear Apply Now CTA button. Furthermore, we optimize the page for both mobile and desktop views and enable engagement tracking. This tracking enables us to gain valuable insights into user behavior, such as click patterns, scroll depth, and bounce rates, empowering us to refine and enhance our strategies based on these insights. I'm thrilled to be able to support and participate in today's PB-sponsored SCORE event. Small businesses are the backbone of commerce and the producers of extraordinary innovation. Through our involvement with SCORE, we're able to further demonstrate our company's 100-year commitment to helping support their success. Now let's dive right in and pass it over to our expert webinar host, Jennifer DeRosa.
Okay, thank you, Lindsay. And before we get to Jennifer, just some quick information on SCORE. We are a nonprofit national partner of the Small Business Administration with over 10,000 volunteers nationally. At SCORE Fairfield County, we have about 100 volunteers with a wide range of industry, process, and subject matter expertise. We offer 3 primary value-added services to small business owners. First, free one-on-one counseling, either face-to-face, video or telephone, email, website, we'll find you, which can be accessed via Request a Mentor link that's on the screen, or from our Request a Mentor link on our website. 2, educational workshops and webinars like this. And 3, extensive resources on our website, including a network of subject experts at your disposal. Our next live webinar is this Thursday, November 16, and the topic is Export 101, Opportunities for Small Business with Melissa Grosso presenting. Also on Thursday at 6 p.m., Jennifer will be presenting an in-person workshop at the Fairfield Library on how to use AI, such as ChatGPT, to promote your business online. Look for the specifics on fairfieldcounty.score.org. Other useful information for today's event: we have set aside time for Q&A at the end of the presentation. If you have a question, please use the Q&A button at any time during the presentation. And also, our webinar will end sharply at 1 p.m. to respect your time. The session is being recorded, and the link to the recording will be available at fairfieldcounty.score.org within the next day or so. We do not mail out the presentations. It's now my pleasure to introduce our speaker, Jennifer DeRosa, who is the founder of Toto Coaching, an online website building course with weekly coaching to help small businesses and entrepreneurs build a solid, effective website that pre-sells their products and services and develops trust. She recently sold her successful website development agency, Tech Care, founded in 2001, to coach others. Prior to forming Tech Care, Jennifer was a consultant for such major companies as MBCC, US Surgical, GTE, GE Capital, Unilever, and Calvin Klein. Jennifer, it's all yours now.
Thank you, Bud. Thank you, everyone, for taking time out of your busy day to learn something new. We're going to have a lot of fun today. And thank you also to Lindsay and Pitney Bowes for sponsoring this event. So we appreciate that. Without the sponsorships and help like that, these events can't be done, and you can't learn all these great, amazing things. So thank you. So today we are going to be going over from concept to launch, step by step, building your own website. And that was a nice introduction that I just had. A couple other points about myself. I'm just recently graduated from an MIT course at MIT University on artificial intelligence and machine learning, building data science solutions. And I'll be discussing some of that on Thursday night. So if you are in the Fairfield area from 6 to 7:30, I'd love to have you. You can still register online. And it's in person only. So we're going to have a lot of fun, and I'm going to show you a lot of ways that I'm using AI in my business life and daily life, and hopefully give you some sparks of new ideas that things that you can do, how you can implement AI in your, regular business life to promote your business. So that's on Thursday night, and you can register on Score Fairfield County's website, just like you registered for this one. And I'm also I'm on chapter 13. I'm so happy of writing, building DIY websites for dummies. So the For Dummies series, they have not written a book in a while or put out a book on building a website. And so I am doing that. And it's a lot of fun, but it's a lot of work. I've never written a book before. If you have, it's a lot of work. So that is available on Amazon right now. You can pre-purchase that. It will be out in the spring. And I'm the owner of Toto Coaching, what I'm going to be going over is kind of what we're doing today is what I teach you in the course. We'll teach you how to build a website from the beginning to the end, because this is the thing. There are amazing tools out there to build a website. We have amazing tools. We've come so far. Building a website is easier and quicker now than it ever has been. Than when I first started. I first started in 1994, and I had to code every single line, like write everything out. And as time has gone on, what has happened is we've gotten these amazing tools, which for me, what that's done is allowed me to strategize more for my former clients, or, think about ways to message or make something look more beautiful, etc. Right? So all of the tools are great, but this is the thing. If I were to give you Picasso's or Monet's or some Rembrandt's paints and paintbrush and canvases and everything, would you be able to paint like them? And that's the thing. You might be able to. I can't. Most of us probably cannot. Just because you have the tools doesn't mean that you can create a masterpiece. There's a lot more that goes into it, right? Probably what you do. You can think about what you do for a business that you started, the business that you started. If someone else were to have your tools, would they be able to implement the same result or get people to the same result? Probably not, because you are the expert in that, right? So I'm the expert in building websites. And so that's what people learn from me. I fill in all those blanks. And in this webinar, I'm going to fill in some of those blanks for you. Okay. And I also am the owner of Toto SEO. We do SEO services. And I've done some other webinars also for SCORE Fairfield County on how to hire a SEO agency. If you haven't seen those, it's really interesting. I've been getting great feedback from that. People just think SEO is one thing. No, it's not. And you need to know what you're paying for. There's a lot of bad actors in that field. So you want to really educate yourself. And then a little more, I do a lot of speaking. So, that's just a little bit about me. So let's get started, okay? And then please, oh, by the way, I'll just reiterate, put your questions in the Q&A and I will answer them at the end. So everyone gets all the information and we don't derail, okay? So let's get started. So let's say you want to build a website. You're going to build a website for your, for yourself personally or for your business, or you're helping someone else, right? So what do we do first? So the first thing we do is we go pick a theme. We choose a theme that we like the look of, and we start designing, right? No. And if you have tried to build a website and that was the first thing you did, because it is like, that's like candy in the candy store, right? So let's go pick that out, right? If you did that and you didn't get the result you wanted, this is probably why. It's not you. You just don't know the right process that makes it easy to build a website. Okay. So let's talk about what you need to do. This is an overview of what you need to do, high level, and I'm going to go over each of these in this webinar. Okay. So the first thing you want to do is you want to get set up. All right. Then you want to work on your messaging. That comes next. You want to do some basic things for SEO. We'll go over that, search engine optimization. You want to create your sitemap, your navigation, all your pages, your menu structure. You want to start preparing your assets. You want to prepare your copy. You want to prepare your images, and you want to prepare your videos. It's just, you need to think about that. It's important, okay? Then we start laying out our pages, determining what's going to go on what. And then we work on the design. Design is step 9 when you look at it this way in this list. All right. It's not step 1, it's step 9. Then we're going to think about generating leads, because why are we building this website? We're building this website to promote our business and to hopefully bring in more leads or convert, strangers into warm leads. So we're going to talk about that. Then we want to optimize our website for search, right? So we want to implement some of those basic SEO strategies on our on-page optimization. And we go live, then we go live, then we go live. So we're not done then we measure. And actually, I should probably put another step is we need to keep adding to our website and changing into that. Okay, so this is kind of an overview. And if you want this list, don't worry about writing everything down. I will send you this list. If you want my emails on the bottom of every slide, you can send me an email after this webinar and I will send you a nice little worksheet, okay, for you. Okay, so let's talk about getting set up. What does that mean? First of all, you want to register your domain name. Now, I have some advice on this. If you're going to be starting a company, and you have not thought of the name of your company yet, I would suggest seeing if you can find a domain name before you think of the formal name of your company. Why do I say that? A lot of people do what's called squatting on domain names. They register domain names and then they don't do anything with it. They either think they're going to do something with it or they buy these domain names so that they hope someone someday buys it from them and they make money. Okay, it's called squatting on the domain names. I used to do this. I am a former squatter. I don't do this anymore, although I do have some domain names registered to my name. But it's very difficult. When I was trying to start Toto Coaching, right? So after I sold my web development agency that I had for over 23 years, I said, okay, let me, I knew I was going to be teaching people how to build a website. And I had all these amazing names. I had amazing names for my company. Every time I looked one up, it was taken. It was taken. And if you can, choose a domain name that's branded for your company or has something to do with it, your company name, that's the best, right? So it took me a while and I finally found totocoaching.com. So that I chose and I said, that's what I'm going to name my company. Okay. So when you register your domain name, just think about that piece of it. Maybe you already have one registered, but if you haven't yet and you haven't settled on a company name, look for a domain name. And by the way, if you see one that's available and you're like, well, I'm going to buy it, you better buy it because someone else might buy it soon. The next thing you want to do is choose a platform. So a platform is where you're going to build your website. That's like the tools that I was talking about before in my intro when I was talking about if you had the tools like that Picasso has. That's the tools. And a lot of the tools that are out there, the platforms that are out there, such as Wix or Squarespace or GoDaddy websites or Square or Webflow or WordPress, there's just so many, 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 many places you can build a website. That's your tool. That's the paintbrush. Okay. Makes it easy to build it. It doesn't mean that you're going to be able to build it correctly. And it doesn't mean you're going to be able to build something amazing. Okay. That's your tool, but you need to choose one. They're the ones that usually say, they're the ones that have the advertisements and the blog posts. Oh, build your website in a weekend or in 6 days. Like, if you build a website, that is just insane. Like, unless you have to get everything ready. If you have everything ready, maybe you can throw it together. But like getting everything ready is the part that takes a really long time. And if you've done this, you know what I'm talking about. So the platform is the tool to build it. You want to choose that. How do you choose a platform? I get this question all the time. Which platform should I choose? So one of my lessons in Toto Coaching is how to choose a platform. And we talk about different advantages and what to look for, okay? When it gets down to it, like the bottom line, this is what I recommend. I recommend if you are building your first website or even your second website, but you're doing it on your own, I want you to concentrate on all the important pieces, such as your messaging, the SEO, optimizing your assets, putting the correct information on the page. There is a lot to think about. If you are spending time learning software in addition to all these other things, you're going to go crazy and you're going to give up and you're going to be very frustrated. And maybe I am talking to you right now and you're like, yeah, exactly. Okay, you can take a couple different platforms for a test drive. If there's a free trial, try the free trial. Is it easy to build a page? Can you figure out how to put a nest pages underneath each other? Is it easy to add a menu? How does it, can you add an image to your page quickly and easily? How easy is it to choose your fonts? How easy is it to add a video? Can you add a row with 3 columns and another row with 2 columns? Go in there and try to maybe build something. Maybe you find a simple website and you try to copy it. Just try to do it. Like spend a half hour or an hour in each of the software packages that you find and just see how it is using it. Use the one that's most intuitive to you. Because this is the thing. If you don't have to focus on the software and you can just build your website very quickly, what will happen is you're going to focus on all the things that matter that I'm going to go over in this. And then what you can do is later on, when your business grows and you start bumping up against something like you really want to add something to your website, but the platform you chose limits you. Okay. Like maybe you want to add or portfolio that looks a particular way, or you want to be able to add an event manager in there where you can list your events. Like on my website, I list all of my upcoming webinars that I'm doing, and I use a tool, a plugin for that. Okay. If say you want to add that to your website or something that you want to add to your website, when you bump up against the platform's limitations, at that point, If you have a website that's like 15 pages or less, it's not a big deal to rebuild that website on another platform. Or maybe at that point you've grown and you have a lot of money in their coffers at that point, and you can hire a web developer and you can say, you know what? This is the website. I like the messaging. My assets are all good. My message, I need it moved to a different platform and I need to have this functionality added in. You can do that later. It's not a big deal. It's not a big deal. But originally, if you are going to be struggling with the software, you are never going to do all the pieces that matter, that make your website rock, that make your website be a lead magnet, that make people convert. Those are the things that are important, okay? Not the platform. So pick one that's easy for you to use, all right? I personally use WordPress. That is what I'm used to. I'm also technical and I'm a web developer. WordPress might be difficult for you. You also have to, if you're going to use WordPress, you have to, it's really good. If you're not that technical, you're kind of on your own because you have to manage everything yourself, but you definitely want to choose a hosting platform that is for WordPress only because they will help you better. You would not, if you're not technical and you have a WordPress website, you do not want to host on like Bluehost or SiteGround or a place like that because they're not built only for WordPress. So they're not going to give you the help you need because you have to think about that. If you're on your own and you're not that technical, you need to have someone to help you later on when you run into some big issue if the whole site crashes. So you need to think about that, okay? So that's why I'm saying, like, choose a platform that you can work with easily, but that is at your technical level, okay? And then what do you have to do? You have to decide where you're going to build this website. Are you going to build on a temporary URL, a staging site, or live? I just wrote the chapter for how to go live on each of these options. Okay, so this is the difference. If you have a live website right already, you don't want to take your website down. You can build in place, but the problem is if you start, changing your theme and adding content and you're kind of like half done with a page, half not, whatever, like you can only work for a couple hours because you have another job or something else, like you're going to leave your website kind of messy. And if it's live, people will see that. So that is like not the recommended way. And you can put up a coming soon page, not really a big fan of those. So that's not ideal, is to build live. That's not the ideal situation. What's better is to build either on a temporary URL or a staging site. So a staging site is if you have the ability to do that. They also call it, I think Wix calls it a development site. There's other names for it. But what it is basically if you have a website that's up already, it takes your website and creates a copy of it, a clone of it somewhere else. And in that other place, that somewhere else, no one can get to it. So you can like rip it all up, mess it all up, leave it messed up and go on vacation. No one's going to see it. That is ideal. And then when you're done and you get it all pretty and already, you literally say, push my staging site live, and it will overwrite your live site. So that's a really good way to build. Not all hosts and have the ability to do the staging site. So you need to find that out. You can find that out when you're choosing a platform. But staging site is like amazing. That's an amazing thing. And then, or you can build on a temporary URL. What does that mean? So if you sign up for a platform or sign up for a host or something, they're going to give you a URL. They're going to give you a domain name. It doesn't look like what you're going to put on your business card. It doesn't match your domain name. It's like gibberish sometimes, maybe numbers, whatever. That URL, you can build on it. And that is also hidden. Okay, so you can build there. And like I said, same thing with staging, mess it all up, leave it half undone, whatever. It's fine until you're ready to go live. And then you just point your domain. You say, hey, domain, I want you to look at those files over there. And then you go live. I walk you through that in the book and my course too. You don't have to know how to do that right now, but what you need to do is decide where you're going to build your website. So think about that. All right, so we're set up, right? So we're set up. The next thing we want to do is work on our messaging. I meet with a lot of people from SCORE, or from not even from SCORE, a lot of different people. I give talks and I'll meet with them, or someone will contact me about their website or wanting to do SEO, or should they take my course, right? So I'll meet with them. So many times I look at their website, their first page, I open up their homepage and I have no idea what they do, who they help, and how they help them. None. And if you look at your website right now, think about your website if you have one, or if you're building one, Your home page, you have 3 to 8 seconds to let the visitor know that they're in the right place and that you understand their problems and that you are the solution. You have 5 to 8 seconds. You can also run what's called a 5-second test. It's a formal test online. I've done that webinar for SCORE, Fairfield County. And I show you how to run one of those tests. I think I also have it on my website. You can rewatch it on my website. But you need to be able to let the visitor know in the first few seconds those important things. That's your messaging. How do you come up with your messaging? There's a lot of different ways. We do 2 things in the course that I walk you through. Okay, my total course. One of the things that we love doing, and you can do this on your own as well, is create what's called a buyer persona. You might have already created one. Sometimes they're called avatars. They have different names. I don't care what name you apply to it. It's the same thing. It is basically creating a semi-fictional representation of your customer. Now, you probably have multiple types of customers. Everyone does, right? And you have your amazing customers, and you have those customers that are a time suck or an energy suck or a money suck, and you just don't want those customers anymore, right? And then you have all in between. You have your ideal one. If you could have every single client be this one over here, like for the rest of your life, you only had this kind of client that was like this, you want to do a buyer persona on that client. Then you want to do a couple others. And I love doing the buyer persona on the person that I don't want. Because what happens is when you create buyer personas or these avatars, you understand what makes them tick in a different way. You might already think you understand your customer. I'm telling you, sometimes when you do this exercise, you come away with new information. The other thing that you can do to help your messaging is we walk you through this in the course, and I love doing this. I also do it with my SEO clients. We create a table of information. One column, we put in all of the pain points that a customer has before they're a customer with us. Then we talk about the benefit of our solution. And then we talk about the features of our solution that address those benefits. When you put this down in paper early on, we're not even talking about the website, right? Right now, we're just talking about getting this messaging down. When you get these pain points written down and what your offer is and how amazing you are, and you get it written down, sometimes you're able to literally lift what you write here and paste it onto your website pages later on. It's very effective. So I highly encourage you to think about your messaging early on. Address those pain points. Talk about why you. You started your business for a reason, because you're either passionate about it, you're really good at it, or another reason, right? You need to let people know right away, right up front. Okay? So get your messaging down early on. All right? The next thing that we're going to do is we are going to do some basic SEO. And we're going to do this early on so that we're not trying to shove in the SEO at the end. Okay. You want to do some keyword research. There's keyword research can be an art. I just was doing this for an SEO client this morning before I got on here. It takes a while. You need to think of the keywords that, people might be typing into Google, or into a search engine, I should say. Like what are those the correct words? Is that the right list? Do people refine their search? What are those keywords? And then you need to think about different things, such as the competition level. If your website does not have a high domain authority, which if you've watched me before, I've talked about domain authority. It means like how search engines view your website. They have different scales they use. Most of them use scale 0 to 100. And a lot of websites are in the 20s or 10s or zeros. Okay. So if you're in one of those, that's your domain authority. And for your industry, other websites are like up in the 40s. You can't go for those highly competitive keywords. You'll never rank. So you need to figure out what people are typing in, the volume, the competition, and which words are going to work for you. Okay. So if you do that early on, that's good. And you also can create those keywords from your messaging. So when you do your messaging, that sheet I was just talking about, you know what their pain points are. So you're able to come up with better keywords because you know what your customer is looking for. You also want to look at your backlink profile. That means how many links are come back to your website. All right. If you have a 0, you need to work on that. You need to start thinking about that. That's really, 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 really important for SEO is getting backlinks. We talk about, actually, I have a whole lesson on that. And I do that in the SEO webinar. It's really good, really interesting information, but you want to work on your backlink profile. And if you're a local business, you want to work on things for local business, such as setting up your Google business profile and putting local schema markup on your website. So there's a couple little things that you need to do for basics for SEO. Okay. So now we got set up, we got a domain name, we know our platform, we know where we're going to build it, temporary URL or not. We understand our customer, we got into their head a little bit more, and we did a little basic SEO like research, getting some things in place, right? So now we're ready. We're starting to get ready for our website. What are we going to do now? Well, you're going to plan out your sitemap. Your sitemap is like the navigation. You can call that navigation or your menu structure. Like what pages are you going to have on your website? And then what menu are the page is going to appear? I love the saying, a place for everything and everything in its place. So you do this first because you want to make sure you think about, okay, on my website, I want to have people to be able to book an appointment, enter appointment. I want a contact page where they can just contact. So I want to show my portfolio. I think I want to have a page for each service. I definitely need to have an FAQ page on my homepage, like whatever you're thinking about all your pages. And then you organize them because you think about, okay, I definitely want to put like case studies on there, but I want to make sure that I have an area for the case studies, and then I'm going to put the case studies that pertain to each service. I'm going to link them on each page. Okay, good. When you think about this and you think about all the things that you need to put on your website, you can plan out your sitemap. You want to do that first, early on. Are you going to have a top menu? Are you going to have a footer menu? You don't have to. You can have one main menu, but then also, what does that main menu include? If you have an e-commerce website, that main menu, do you know what it should be? Your categories. If you have an e-commerce website, I do not want to see about or contact, and definitely not home, in your main menu. Why? You're a store. People are going there. They're going there to buy something. That's what you want. Put your categories. Your menu also, if it can tell a story about your offering, is good, because guess what will happen? People will come to your website and see your main menu, and they should be able to tell what you do right from your main menu. You know, if they have to mouse over or drop down. If your menu is home, services, about, contact, that can be any company. Any company. I mean, that's an okay menu, but that can really be any company. So if there's a way to turn your main menu into more of your offering, maybe your high-level categories with a drop down. Like if you're a landscaper, maybe one of your menu items might be, lawn maintenance, and under the lawn, it could be, like mowing and, maintenance. And then maybe another one is like fertilizing. Maybe one is sod installation. Okay. And then maybe you have a section for tree services, whatever. And then maybe you have one for tree removal, stump removal, tree cabling, planting. Do you see what I'm saying? So those are different ways to plan out your sitemap. And there's no right or wrong. It's just like the thing to think about is if you can tell a story with your sitemap, you want to do that. So you need to plan that out. Plan out what you want on your top menu, footer menu, and your main menu. I walk you through that. And you also want to look at your competition. After you do yours first. I do that in the class. I have you look through your competition, but I want you to do yours first. And then you look at your competition, because sometimes they have really good ideas that you can borrow. And then sometimes you realize your competition stinks. And so you have a real effort, you're ready to go. You're ready for the competition against them. So you do your own first. Don't get their bad ideas first. And then you look at them and see if there's anything you should borrow, and then how you make yours even better than everyone else's. All right, so that's your sitemap. Okay, so now we know what pages we're going to have. Your sitemap, do you know what it does too? It becomes a to-do list for you. That is so awesome. I love having that to-do list, because now, okay, if you built a website, or you're building it, you probably feel overwhelmed because there's a lot of steps. Like, look at this. I'm on this slide and we still have more slides to go. There's a lot to do. When you have your site map, you have everything broken into little bite-sized chunks that you can work on, and it's not so overwhelming. So today you can say, today I'm going to work on my about page, or today I'm going to work on my team page, or today I'm going to work on my home page, or today I'm going to work on my case study page. So you can just work on that one section. And then if you are hiring a photographer, which actually I'm going to talk about, then you know, it's like a to-do. I need photos for this page, this page, this page. There's your to-do list. It's so great. So doing the sitemap early on organizes you completely. All right. So we have our sitemap. We have a place for everything and everything in its place. Now it's time to start getting the content for the website. I didn't talk about designing it yet. You notice I did not talk about that yet. The first thing we're going to do is prepare our copy. So this is how I would work with customers when in my web agency. I would say, okay, we do their sitemap. Okay, and I'd give them a Dropbox folder for each page of the website, and I'd be like, write a Word document, everything you want to say, and drop it in the folder in Dropbox. All right. So they would give us like a giant Word document. And I do another webinar on making your website look more modern, or making your copy look amazing. And I show examples of this. I don't have time to show it here. But anyways, it's a big, long Word document. If you went to a website and there was like a big, long document on there, and would you want to read that? No, that's work. Don't make your customers work. If you want to make it easy for them to understand your offer, you want to make your content skimmable. How do you do that? Write your content out. That's fine. In a Word document, I like to write it like an outline. On this page, like I was going back to landscaper example, on this page, in the stump removal page, I want to cover this. How, we take them out all the way, there's nothing left. We don't ruin your lawn. I don't know much about stump removing. You talk about the things that are important, what people might worry about. Remember from our messaging, if you do stump removal, they might worry about certain things from when they get their stumps out, right? So those are their pain points. So you're going to talk about each of their pain points on the page, and then you're going to write a little blurb about each one. So you make sure all your content is in this Word document. So you do this outline and then you fill it in. And then what you're going to do is break up your copy into little sections like this. And you're going to put an amazing heading. And then you're going to put your content below it. You're going to put an amazing heading and put your content below it. Now that I'm showing you this, if you did not know this before, maybe you did. And if you did, great. And if you didn't, I want you to start looking at other websites right now. And you're going to see this is how most of them are built. The good ones. Okay, they're built like this. Long, big Word document, broken up into little sections, heading, text. Sometimes with a supporting visual next to it or a video, sometimes not. That's okay, however you want to do it. But basically, this is what you want to do to your copy. So you want to get your words, your copy, your body copy, your words that you're going to use, your text, all ready. Now, this takes a while. I can tell you, I just told you I'm writing that book for dummies, right? And it takes a long time to write your text. I know, and it did for my website as well. Okay, so dedicate a little bit of time to this. All right. Also, I may do a boot camp. Of teaching you how to write this really quickly. If you're interested in that, get on my list. Send me an email. My email address is on the bottom of most slides, and I'll let you know if I'm going to do a boot camp. But I might do a boot camp of teaching you how to get your copy ready really quickly, because there is a way to do that. And I may go over that on Thursday night if you come, by the way. Just thinking about that. Okay, so we got our copy all done, right? We got everything written. You're like, whoop, that's a lot. Okay, next thing you're going to do is you're going to prepare your images. Where are you going to get your photos? Are you going to take them? Do you have them already? Are you going to hire a photographer? Are you going to get stock photography? Whatever you do, that's fine. Please don't use horrible stock photography. I have a whole lesson on that. I give you examples. Don't use terrible stock photography. I like things that look completely fake. If you are a local business, like you have a hair salon, or you are a restaurant, or you are a chiropractor, or you have a place where people come into your establishment, a market, use your own photos. I'm going to be able to go tell if it's a hair salon and it has random other people in there and the background is not. I want to see what the hair salon looks like or the nail salon looks like before I go there. I want to see the ambience. I want to see the restaurant. Am I going to want to sit there? I'm going with my mom. Is it going to be too dark? Is it going to be too crowded? I'm going with my girlfriends on girl night out. Is it going to be too bright or too quiet? Like, people want to see what it looks like. Prepare your images. Hire a photographer if you can. Professional photography is amazing. Look in the background of your pictures. I go over all of this in my lessons. Look in the background. I've had so many people give me photos with horrible things in the background. Terrible, terrible. So garbage trucks, things like that. Get your images ready. When you get your images ready, say you decide to take your own images, which you can. The phones now we have are great. You cannot take the photo with your phone and upload this giant photo to your website. Well, you can, but you know what's going to happen. Your website's going to slow down. And then search engines will not return a slow website. It's in their best interest to return fast websites. You need to make sure your website is fast. So you need to optimize your images. You can use a tool called Tiny PNG. There's tons of tools to use to optimize your images. But if you've already done this and you've put images that you just took or you downloaded from a stock photography website that's really giant, you need to go back in and make them smaller. You have to optimize them. You also want to name them properly. All lowercase, separated by hyphens, no special characters, and no spaces. And you want to use your keywords. Don't upload an image that's named IMG25689. It's not helpful for SEO. So these are things to do to prepare your images, okay? So you have your copy ready, you have your images ready, and then if you're putting video on there, which I highly suggest you put video on there, you need to prepare it. You need to create it. So that involves writing the script, filming it, etc. Okay, that's not super hard to do, by the way. That part is easy. There's ways that you can create video very easily nowadays, okay? I do another webinar on that for Score. So you can look for that. I keep saying that, I know, but you can look on Score. I've done a ton of these and you can rewatch them or you can sign up for my next one. I just love working with Score. Okay, so you got to create your video. It's not a big deal. Then you need to host it somewhere. Do not upload your giant video to your website. Your website is not a video streaming service. We've heard of that before, right? Netflix is a video streaming service. Hulu is a video streaming service. What does that mean? Their servers know how to deliver video really well to our own devices. They have special technology, so it can deliver in parts. Sometimes you see it buffering if something happens on your end with your internet, right? That's part of video streaming. If you just upload the video to your own website, your video is not your website, your server, your host is not a video streaming service, most likely. And what will happen is in order for someone to view the video, they've got to download the whole thing fast. Do you remember what I just told you about downloading pages when they take a long time to download? Search engines don't like that. They're not going to return you in search. You're not going to move up. If you want to get found organically online, you cannot do that. If you put them up there, you're not going to get returned up high. So you need to host them somewhere. Where do you host them? The three main spots are YouTube, Wistia, and Vimeo. Depending on your goals and everything, I can't go into that here. It's a long story, but you've got to host your video somewhere else. And then you place the video on your website. You place either a module, you drag a module onto your page and you tell it the path to find the video, or you get embed code. You've probably seen embed code and you put that on your website, whatever, but you have to place it there. So you create it, you host it, and you place it on your video. So get that all done. Get that all settled together. Because now we've got everything ready, right? We got our place. We know where we're building it. We got our domain name. We know what platform we're going to build on. We did our messaging. We did a little SEO work. We have our sitemap, which is our to-do list. We wrote all our content. We got all our images ready. And we got our videos ready, right? We got everything ready. It's like we're going to paint our house. If you're going to paint your house, you got to get everything all ready. Pick out your color, what kind of rollers you're going to use for the, if you have a smooth wall or not, get everything ready, right? So we got everything all ready. It's all ready. What are we going to do next? Now we're going to lay out our pages. This involves the first step that I was talking about. Now you're going to choose your theme. Choose your theme now. You're going to pick a theme. Or you're going to pick a page builder too. WordPress, you have to pick a page builder. You can use Gutenberg, which comes with WordPress, but you can also pick a page builder. Personally, I love Beaver Builder. I love it. I love it. I love it. That's my page builder of choice. There's also Elementor you might have heard of, and some others. You need to figure out, what am I going to put in my header? Am I going to put like one menu? Am I going to put a couple menus? Am I going to put my social icons up there? Am I going to put my logo? How big is the logo going to be? Is the logo going to be on the left? It's going to be in the center. Am I going to have my phone number up there? What am I going to put in the header? What are you going to put in your footer? Do you want to put a sign-up form for your newsletter? Do you want to put recently viewed products? Do you want to put a map to your location? Do you want to put your blog categories you're writing about? Do you want to put a menu? Do you want to put your logo? Do you want to put your address? Put your contact information? What do you want to put? Plan your footer up. And next, the way we think of this is our websites are built in rows, and inside rows are columns, and inside columns you place modules. If you start looking at websites now, you're going to see this if you haven't thought about this before. Look at the websites. Websites are just rows down the page, row after row. Modern websites, okay? Back in the day, studying websites, we had one row. So everything was stuck in that one row. And if you have all your content in one column on the whole page, your website probably looks a little older. You want to mix up the rows with the number of columns. You might have one row with one column. That's fine. That's the olden days way we did it. And then if you add another row, you might put 2 columns, and then maybe you go back to 1, and maybe you go to 3, and then maybe you go to 4, and then maybe you go to 2. So you mix it up. Start looking at other websites, how they're doing this. And inside the columns, you place your module. What's a module? I want text to appear here. Drag over a text module. I want a heading. Remember the little headings I was showing? Drag over a heading module. I want to put next to it a little video that I created. Drag in the video module. You drag the modules into your columns that you have placed inside your rows. That's how we lay out web pages. Okay? Next, and it's 12:46, so I'm going to leave time for questions in just a minute. So put them in the Q&A if you want. Then you want to work on design. Now we're working. Okay, so we're kind of laid it out, but you can also see all that great content you had. You can put it on all the pages without designing it. That's a great thing to do. You put all the modules, drag all the modules on, populate the modules with your content that you already prepared, your images, your videos, your copy. PDFs, whatever. You put it all in there, and then you step away and you come back, and now you're like, all right, now I'm going to design this. What do I want the colors to be? How many colors do I want to use? Which colors am I going to use? Do you know your hex colors out of your logo? Okay. You get all that information. Then you're going to work on your fonts. I'm telling you, the fonts makes a huge difference. Most of the platforms now have the ability to grab fonts from Google Fonts. Google Fonts is amazing. We only used to have 5 or 6 fonts that we could build on in the olden days. And now you have all these fonts from Google Fonts. All right. It's great. If you're using Times New Roman or Verdana or an older font like that, Tahoma or Courier, you're probably not using that. But if you're using one of those, your website probably looks older, because that's all we had when internet was really getting booming in the late 90s and the early 2000s. We didn't have a lot of fonts. So if you're using that font, it's remembering the olden days. So you want to use a newer font. Pick your fonts from Google Fonts. Then you want to employ white space. I talk about this all the time. Give your content some breathing room. Don't squish it all together. Separate it out with a little bit of padding on the top and the bottom, definitely. So we can't read something that is all crammed together. When it's separated out, we can focus on each piece of information one at a time, and you can get your point across. So you're going to add white space. And then you're going to add in design elements. Make your website look like yours. Do you want to start adding little icons? Do you have little swirly things that you can put? I put this one in the background. You can put things in the background. What do you want your buttons to look like? All your buttons should be the same. Are you going to have a 30 pixel radius, which means they're pill shaped, kind of like that bottom one? Those are mine on Total Coaching. I have 30 pixel radius on my buttons. All of them are that way. Or you're going to have square edges for your buttons. That's a beautiful look, okay? That's 0 radius. Whatever you do, decide and make it consistent. The key to successful design is simplicity and consistency. Focus on those 2 things. This is where a lot of people struggle, is the design aspect. I know this can be hard for people. So I tell people, we have live coaching once a week in my total coaching course. And I'll get this question a lot. This is a question. And Kelly was asking about this. She's like, I just working on design. She's really, really techie and everything. And this is the hardest part. And so we talk about this a lot, like how to do these design. You have to step away and come back. And step away and come back and look at other websites and get inspiration from different places. Okay. So might be the hardest part, this design piece, really. Then we want to generate leads. We want to put forms on our website, put lots of forms, call to actions. Those are like asking somebody to do something, download this, watch this video, sign up for this, visit this page, buy this product, learn about this now, read more. Those are all call to actions. Okay. So you want to add those to your website. You want to keep people on your website. You need to keep them on as long as possible. Search engines measure that. They measure how much time people stay on your website. If they come to your website and it looks crappy and it looks all smushed together and there's too many colors on it, or they can't figure out what you do because you haven't done your messaging, they will leave. And if you have people coming and bouncing off and coming and bouncing off, guess what's going to happen? Search engines get the idea that this is a terrible website and they won't return your website anymore. So you got to keep people on your website and you want to turn them, these customers, right, into warm leads by having them fill out a form or watch something else. You want them to reach out to you. All right. Then we're going to optimize our website for search. What that means is we're going to do that basic SEO work that we did early on. Now we're going to put it into place. We are going to write good title and meta descriptions. We are going to make sure we have the right keyword density. We have the keyword that we're going for on each page in there enough, but not too much so that it's keyword stuffing. We're going to make sure that all our headings are tagged with a heading tag, one H1, multiple H2s. If you don't know what I'm talking about, you need to find out about that. Heading tags, they're not all body or normal. And then you want to make sure you add some internal links on your page. That means linking to other pages on your website on each page, an external link once in a while, linking to a page outside on the internet. You want to put the keywords in URLs and more. Okay. And then we're going live. Now we're going live. We're going to tell the world, if they go to our domain name, where to find our website. We're going to install an SSL certificate and we're going to test our forms. Everyone should be testing your forms. Your form on your website right now, please test it after this call just to make sure you're getting it. So many times forms break and people don't realize it for a while. You're going to check mobile responsiveness. Does my website look good in mobile? You're going to check the links on your website. Do they all work? Are any broken? You're going to install Google Analytics, Google Search Console. You're going to upload a sitemap.xml to Google Search Console. You're going to add in redirects and a couple other things. I just wrote that chapter. This is going live. And then once you're live, you're not done. You're going to do two things. You're going to measure. You're going to measure. You're going to look at your Google Search Console. You're going to look at your Google Analytics. You're going to maybe install a heat map. You're going to look at your reviews you're getting. And then you're also going to be adding to your website. Do not build your website and forget about it. Constantly update it. This should be a work in progress at all times. And that's how you build a website, just like that. So those are a bunch of steps. There is my contact information if you want. If you want to find out about the Total Coaching course, that's the link, or my SEO services. And like I said, I do a ton. I've got webinars on my website you can watch again that I've done for SCORE. And I'm going to be there Thursday night in Fairfield. So we're going to be doing AI. It's going to be a lot of fun. So register for that if you can come. And now I would love to take any questions. So if you have them, put them in the Q&A and I will read them. I know there's some in the chat, but if you guys can move over anything from the chat into the Q&A, it will be better. Okay. So, oh my gosh, we have 27 questions. Let's see how many we can do in 7 minutes. Okay. Brenda asks, what is a reliable site for platform reviews? So if she's talking about reviews, I always start with Google. You want to start with Google reviews. If you have a local business, get your reviews. You can get your Google review link. It's very easy to get your Google review link. Don't ask people to go find you and search for Google and then find the link to do the review, and don't make them work. Send them the link directly to your Google reviews page. Or if you have a brick and mortar business, you can make a QR code that links right to the Google reviews, and you can hang it up in your place of business and people can just leave you a review that way. Okay. You can also get reviews on places like Thumbtack, House, Facebook. There are Yelp. There's just tons of places for reviews. All of them help, all of them. And you can pull them into your website, or sometimes Google Business Profile will pull them in for you. You might see reviews if you have them on House and other places. Google Business Profile might show them as well. Does Google have a platform, from Joanne? I think you can build a Google site. You used to be able to build Google sites. I don't know. It's not one that I would use. If the Google's really good at being a search engine. You want to use what thing that people are good at, right? In anything in your life, right? Like, you're not going to go, I'm not going to go to the local Mexican restaurant and order pasta. That's not I'm saying, not going to do it. So use a good platform. Okay. Google's really good at search. Nora asked, would you please walk us through how a blog page should be properly structured? Okay, I don't know if I had enough time on that, but you want to blog just quickly. First of all, you want to do some keyword research, see if people are searching for that. You want to write a really juicy title. Your title should be juicy and amazing. There's all kinds of articles on what makes a good title. And I do another webinar that gives you tons of ideas of what to write about. But you can look on, like, WordStream has a bunch of ideas, but get a good title. And then the same thing, you want to break up your blog post with little subheadings, and insert in some supporting photography if you want. Make sure it's in a good category and has good tags. Search engines index your categories and tags. You don't want your category to be service or tip. Mine right now needs to be fixed on my website because they kind of are like that. I need to work on fixing mine. So fix your categories and make sure you have good tags. Don Sella asks, do you need to choose a host separately from the domain platform? You know what? I like I just said, I use what tools are good. When I register my domain name, I'm going to register it at a registrar. I'm not going to register it where I'm hosting my website, because I might want to move my host someday. And you can, but like, there's GoDaddy, for example, gives you amazing tools for managing your domain name. It gives you amazing tools. They're very good. That's what they do really well. I host a lot of my domains at GoDaddy. So yes, but I would not build my website on GoDaddy. Just personally, I wouldn't, but I would use another. So I do separate the hosting from the domain, from where I get where I register the domain name. Christian asked, when purchasing domain names, how important is it to purchase adjacent domain extensions? You know what? We used to all be freaked out about that, and like adding a .net when you get a .com. If you want to, you can. If you're nervous about someone else taking that domain name from you, then maybe the .net, .org you're not supposed to purchase unless you're a nonprofit or organization. Government you can't get because that's government. So there's some, and then there's all these other new made up endings. TLDs is what it's called, the extension. So anyways, I don't have the .net to mine, but if you're worried about it, get the .net. If you're worried about someone else competing against you. Carla asked, can you build on your computer and then go live? There are ways to do that. Like, for WordPress, you have a thing called local, and it's a WordPress local instance on your website. I personally don't do this. I want to build where it's going to be, because we used to do that when we did Dreamweaver, and what was the Adobe product? There's another one. So we used to build that way. We don't really build that way because your computer might have different software on there and different instances of things. And then once you upload it, it doesn't behave the same. I want to build where it's going to be loaded from. So I build staging for the most part, or in the temporary URL. Okay. And then I go live. Richard asks, what does a website do? Who can be the most economic host? Okay. I'm not exactly sure of the question, but I want to address economic host. Do not go for the cheapest option, because you will have a slow website. Okay. Spend a little money on your hosting. Okay. And don't go for $3.99 a month hosting. If it's $30 a month, is your business worth it? Think about how many clients you have to get in order to pay for that a year. Okay. Or do you want zero? Like, pay a little bit for good hosting. So don't go for the cheapest host. I never say that. Anonymous says, thank you, Jennifer. It's been so helpful. What's the hosting platform? That's where you're going to build your website. So like WordPress that's the software you're going to use. So Wix is like a hosting a platform together. Squarespace is a hosting a platform together. Shopify, any of this, where you're going to build your website. Okay. Where you go in, you log in and you create your pages and stuff. SEO means Jane asked, that means search engine optimization. That's a whole nother subject. I do that. If you have a website, you need to know about it. You do need to know about it. Elena says, if I have a parent company for multiple businesses, all related, do you recommend having different websites for each business, or they can be combined into one? That's up to you. If your target audience is different or your messaging is very different, you want to have different ones. And then what you can do is group them all together with a bar at the top that's like your brands. If you visit these websites, visit the Athleta, Gap, Old Navy, that group, you'll see what I'm talking about. Or to visit like the Pottery Barn, Restoration Hardware, that group, you'll see all their brands are at the top. That's how you can kind of put them together. I did that for a client, Center Island Contracting on Long Island, and they have renovation realty and distinctive design.
Jennifer?
So yes.
It's 1 o'clock. Let's take
Okay.
2 more questions and then we're going to have to wrap up.
Okay, good. Real quickly. What site would you recommend to buy a domain? I already said that. I probably would buy it at GoDaddy. Personally, that's where I would. And if I was going to host a WordPress website, I would host it at either Flywheel, Kinsta, or WP Engine. Those are WordPress hosting platforms that are amazing. I would definitely do that. Or I also host them other places, but those, if for you guys, that's what I would do. And then just quickly, a lot of trending towards one-page websites. I'm going to answer that quickly, Christian. Do you want a one-page website? When you are trying to get up in search, if you care about being found online, your keywords are like raffle tickets. Okay. If you only have one page, you have one raffle ticket. You want multiple pages. And that's it. It's
Thank you,
101.
Jennifer. We could have kept going for another hour, I bet, but that's all the time we have today. And as a reminder, the recording of this webinar and the materials will be available within the next day or so on our website under the on-demand webinars at fairfieldcounty.score.org. Our next live webinar is this Thursday, November 16 at noon, and the topic is Export 101, Opportunities for Small Businesses, with Melissa Grosso presenting. Also on Thursday, Jennifer is going to be at the Fairfield County Library doing a live workshop on how to use AI to promote your business online. You can find specifics for both at fairfieldcounty.score.org. Again, SCORE offers free individual counseling, so please use the link on our screen. Do we have that at the back end as well? No? Okay. Go to our website and click Request a Mentor. And also, please that it will be sent at the end of the webinar. On behalf of SCORE, I'd like to thank you all for attending today's live webinar. And in closing, a big thank you to Pitney Bowes for supporting today's webinar, and of course to Jennifer for presenting today. Thank you much all, and enjoy the rest of your day.
Bye, everyone. Thank you.